The former Scottish Conservative leader Ruth Davidson is facing calls to resign as an MSP after taking on a second job. The Tories say her new role as a part-time advisor to a public relations firm is within the rules, but industry professionals are raising concerns. Here's our chief political correspondent, Glenn Campbell.
Here we go.
From serving sweeties
Do we do it like that? Well, you know, I'm not driving today, so if it's on offer, I'll
to bottling scotch. From driving a tank
let's go straight through to the full house.
to calling the bingo.
61.
There are few jobs Ruth Davidson hasn't tried out in pursuit of votes. But as she prepares to leave Parliament in 2021 for pastures new, she's already found work advising a public relations firm despite industry concerns.
The umbrella organisation that governs the lobbying industry is quite clear on this, that it's a conflict of interest, that companies should not hire parliamentarians because, if you think about it, you cannot be lobbying or working for a company that lobbies to change the law and vote on law changes at the same time.
On top of her salary as an MSP, she'll earn £50,000 a year working part-time for Tulkin Communications. The Scottish Conservatives say the job's within the rules, and it is far less onerous than the party leadership she held for 8 years, and she's able to complete the 16 hours a month it requires while still having more time for her family and constituency. But all other parties at Holyrood think she should stand down.
I'm absolutely astonished, dismayed, disappointed. I think it's poor judgment, so I really do think that it's time she considered her position and that there was a by-election for that Edinburgh Central seat.
A seat where not everyone's happy with her having other work.
She's been elected to do a job to represent the people, so I'm not sure why she would be taking time away from that to do something else.
I think she's about to depart, doesn't she? So she's every right to go for a second job.
Politicians are not prevented from taking on extra paid responsibilities outside Parliament. But Ruth Davidson's case has renewed debate here at Holyrood over whether second jobs should be banned. Glenn Campbell reporting Scotland at the Scottish Parliament.
And Ruth Davidson is facing calls to quit as an MSP after taking a £50,000 a year job with a lobbying firm in London. The Edinburgh Central MSP stepped down as Scottish Conservative leader in August to spend more time with her family and says the new job will not stop her representing her constituents. Our political editor Colin Mackay has been speaking to politicians. And Colin, what's been their reaction?
MSPs are absolutely incredulous, partly because we're talking about £50,000 a year for just 24 days' work, but also the nature of that work. She'll be working for a lobbying firm called Tulkin. Now, that's run by a former Conservative Party chairman, Andrew Feldman. They both served together in political cabinets under David Cameron and under Theresa May, so they know each other quite well. The SNP were first today to call for Ruth Davidson to quit. They would love a by-election in Edinburgh, possibly even on the 12th of December if there's anything else going on that day. But Ruth Davidson hasn't been willing to do interviews on this today. She's on holiday abroad with her family. But she did tell me in a text today that she won't actually be doing any lobbying. In fact, she says that her contract prevents her from doing any of that. But she will be using her experience and her political connections on behalf of companies represented by Tulkin. That's privatised water companies down south. That's big energy companies. It's big business like Diageo. And her opponents say that that means there's a clear conflict of interests.
Ruth Davidson has brought the Parliament into disrepute, and for her constituents they'll be quite angry, I would imagine, because many of them won't earn £50,000 a year, never mind for 24 days work. So it's just not compatible being a lobbyist for private industry and being a member of the Scottish Parliament. She should resign immediately.
If public relations is all about perception, this isn't a good look. I'm surprised that she's been offered this role, but I'm even more astonished that she's actually thought it was a good idea and acceptable to take it. This is a woman who insists that it's right to have a 2-child limit for people applying for a tax credit. Well, I think it's right to have a 1 job limit for those of us who are privileged enough to serve in the Scottish Parliament.
you could hear the anger from her opponents there. But do you know, I've spoken to Tories today, none of whom were willing to be interviewed, but who are pretty unhappy about this as well. In fact, a very short statement from her own party today said that what she was doing was well within parliamentary and industry rules. But some Tories don't believe it is within industry rules. But Tulkan haven't signed up to those industry rules, so she's going to do it anyway. I should also point out that in the last week she has taken on a role within STV and ITV, chairing a mental health commission for those companies, but for that she's not being paid.
Colin in Holyrood, thank you.